into current meta. Takedowns are lost among a lot of jiu-jitsu guys. They're not the best takedowners. So immediately in the fight, bam, Vlad sits guard, right? So if he sits guard, it's not exactly as like he's undangerous. He's a very dangerous person from this position. I need to make sure, he starts getting in, boom, sitting my leg up, bam. And all of a sudden the match just ended, right? And I just spent 6 weeks learning how to wrestle for nothing, right? So we don't throw that out the window, but what we do is we learn how to attack this, right? So if you saw what Vlad did, he gets his shin to my shin. Yes. If he does that, he's going to win every single time. He's going to take me to get to a different position. So just like you would pummel on the feet, we're pummeling here. So if I get my foot in, Vlad's going to want to get his foot in, right? Yeah, look at that. So I'm going to want to get my foot in again. And it's a never-ending battle. You don't stop just because you lost one round. You keep going. So now what I like to do is make sure I'm a little bit off to the side, right? I don't want to be right in his wheelhouse, square. Clean entry. Yeah, that's too dangerous for me. I'm not that good to let that happen. So I'm stabbing. So now what I'm doing, again, I'm thinking Kazushi, I'm thinking off balancing. Everything in jiu-jitsu is predicated off of that. So what I do is I just give him a little push. His hands went back. That's all I need, right? So now I just give him a little push. I'm going to penetrate through, and sometimes I can touch him with my knee. So now, as I make this back step, my hand over here is going to grab his armpit again, right? And if you notice, I went down on one knee. So with this knee, I'm going to scoop under, and I'm going to end up in a low combat squat. So I'll come here, and I'm standing, right? I don't want to be low. I want to be high, leg is shut. Still grabbing his armpit, grabbing his far leg, sitting right through, bam. Now if you notice, I'm holding Vlad like a little baby. Because now every time I can tilt him and start attacking all these fun positions, right? So a couple of key things. The reason I like to grab the body is for a point of connection. Sometimes people will haphazardly enter this from here, and then all of a sudden I have no technique. Or yeah, you'll get your back taken, which is, the worst case scenario. So what I need to do is make sure Kazushi, entry, grip. So I'll scoop under sometimes to give my legs some help. Bam. And now as I fall, I transfer and grab. One thing to remember with our saddle position is my left foot is the way out for Vlad. So if I keep it over here, yeah, now all of a sudden he has my leg. But if I keep this nice and tight, the orientation of his knees are facing me, and I keep the interior of the bend of my foot right to his butt cheek, it's going to be very hard for him to get that out. A lot of times what he'll find himself doing is manipulating that foot with his hand. By the time he's doing that, we're already here, going for our finishes. So again, we're entering the saddle or 411, whatever your preference is to call it, right? We're getting that little bit of Kazushi. It doesn't have to be a big movement. If you get slick with it, what you can do is press and reach under your leg at the same time. So you can go, come right in, bang. So as his leg goes through, it's imperative that you want to get this leg early. So if I can, even from this position, before I even drop, and I'm here, grab this leg, that's great, because now I pull it across. Again, to the theory of this leg is already controlled by my legs, so there's no need to waste energy grabbing. It's already controlled, it's isolated on its own. So as I pull this over, it exposes the plethora of attacks. But the one thing it really does is it prevents Vlad from being mobile, right? Yeah, now I have all the time in the world. There's a minute left in the match. Maybe I'll come here and I'll cook him a little bit. Make him think, make him think. Biggest thing to remember, the way that my foot is tight here is very important. Now Vlad is gonna try to clear his knee line. So if his knee goes there, your job as a proficient grappler is not to continue fighting in this position. It's to salvage and get to the next spot. A lot of times all I do is I keep control of his foot and I back out. So now as Vlad goes to turn me and stand up, it's impossible because I have this base in my hand. So always remember, those connection points that you make all have value. You don't want to throw them away just because the position is being escaped. You want to look at it, examine it, and take an inventory, if you will. What's the best thing? What are the spots you can make a grip and make a difference in that next transition? A lot of times, you just cut the heel and just think, he can't stand up now. You get right back to your feet, you'll end up in the same spot. Take this position a little bit slow at first, get a training partner, practice it in steps. If you practice slow and smooth, that will become a fast technique. If you're practicing quick and choppy, that's how you'll develop bad habits. You won't get the entry, and you'll watch these videos and think, man, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, right? So you really need to make sure that you make those connection points. So that's going to be entering the saddle from the standing position.